In this video, I'm going to teach you how to add an activity to the database and then take attendance and sign participants up for that activity. So to begin, you want to go to the activity section. If your activity is already in the system, then you can go ahead and just click on it, click on the row. I'm going to go ahead and add a new one just to show you. And as a note, you can see there's program activities and special events. This part, the attendance part and the signing participants up, works the same exact way. So I've just picked a program activity for a demonstration. So first of all, it's going to ask you to pick which program this activity is for. You can pick multiple. I'm just going to do the bridge for now. And then type in the name of the activity as specifically as you can. And then there's a couple other things you can choose, like if it's a drop-in, the start date, the end date. I'm going to set this to be, let's say, 2 months-ish. You can say which days this activity meets if there's a schedule. And then you can put in additional information like the service, the topic, the type. And this is where the special event and program activity comes in. So if you mark something as a special event, it will appear below in that special event list, versus if you mark it as anything else, it will not. It'll come up it'll display in the program activity list, and I'll show you that once we're done adding it. So I'm just going to say workshop and then fill out the rest of these. I'm not going to, just for time purposes for this training. So I'm going to go ahead and press submit. And the system is just going to take us to a summary view of the information we just entered. So now you see at the top that there's these sub-tabs about this activity. So today we're going to focus on participants and attendance. But there's this parent and contact tab and bulk attendance, which we'll cover later. So first, you'll want to add the participants to the activity who will be attending. And you can do that by pressing this Enroll Participants button here. This brings up a list of everybody in the system. And then once you add people to this activity, they'll drop off this list. So there's a couple ways to add people. You can either go down the list here. You can filter by first and last name to get a specific person and then press Enroll. You can filter by current program. So because this is a bridge activity, I'm going to filter to get only people who are enrolled in bridge right now. And then you can go down and enroll individually if say you only want 3 out of the 8 people who are showing up here. Or if you want all 8 people to be enrolled who are showing up here, then you can press this Enroll All Students. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and you'll see that it added everybody from my list here to the list behind for the activity. So if you close this, we'll see all of the 8 people have been added. It also defaults the enroll date to the current day, so today's the 5th. And then once the sort of activity ends, or if someone leaves the activity early, you can always put an unenrolled date, and that will default the current date again, and then that will allow you to see how long they were actively involved in that activity. Ours is going to populate later once we take attendance. And then enroll is you can assign each participant a role if that's part of the program that you're in. And if it doesn't apply to the program that you're adding the activity for, then just don't worry about it. All right, so the second step is once you have your participants added, you'll go set up the instances of this activity, so sort of the meeting dates, if you will. And to do that, you'll go ahead and add a new attendance day here. And this will pull up sort of basic information about that day. And there's 2 types of attendance you can add in the system. One is just sort of a one-off, so you can add an attendance day for today, fill out this information, press submit, and then it's just for today. The second way is if you want to set up a recurring event sort of schedule. So say if this activity meets every Monday and Friday, you can set up recurring days. So instead of having to click to add every single attendance day, the system will do it for you, and it'll add an attendance day for every Monday and Friday. In this video, we're going to focus on that first type I mentioned, the single kind of one-off attendance days. And then in another video, I'll talk more in depth about the recurring attendance days. So that's why you'll leave this, if you're doing a one-off, you'll leave this checkbox blank. You will select a topic, and then it's important to select an accurate start and end time because this information will directly affect the hours that participants are given for this activity. And I'll show you how that works later. So this is a 4-hour sort of span of time that this activity is going to be happening on the 5th. So I'll submit, and it's going to go ahead and take us to the list of activity or attendance days, excuse me, and you'll see that we just added this one. No one has been marked as attended or anything because we haven't taken in the attendance yet. So once you are ready to take attendance, you can press this Take Attendance button. And this will bring up a list of everybody who's enrolled. The system assumes that everybody was present, and then if they aren't, you can change it manually. And the system also assumes that everybody showed up at 8 and left at 12, like we set in the first part, the first step. So if anybody was absent, you can go ahead and mark them as absent. If anyone came late, so let's say Brenda came late, you can select late. And then additionally, if you change the start time for her, so say she was an hour late, she'll get only 3 hours for this day, while everybody else gets 4, with the exception of Clay because he didn't attend at all. And that said, if you mark someone as absent, you don't have to worry about changing the start and end time because they won't get credit for those hours anyway, as long as they're marked as absent. So once you have updated the attendance accurately, you can press Submit. And this will just take you to a view of the information we just filled out that's kind of easier to see. If you need to edit this attendance at any time, you can press Edit here, or from the attendance list, there's going to be a button that says Update Attendance, and that will take you back so you can change anything. So say you made a mistake or someone else was late, you can go in and edit the attendance there. And if you need to edit anything about the day, like the topic or the date or the start and end time, you can press this Update Scheduling button, and that will take you to edit that information. So once you have your attendance day set up, it will calculate how many people attended, how many people were late, how many people were absent, for a total of 8. If you remember, there are 8 people enrolled in this activity. And additionally, if we go click on the Participant tab, you will see the hours calculating out. So everybody got 4 hours for this one attendance day that I entered, except for Clay because he was absent, and Brenda came an hour late. So once you add multiple attendance days, this tally will just keep adding up. So if I add another attendance day for 4 hours and everybody came, then Clay will have 4, Dave will have 8, and so on. And so this is a sum of the hours that they've had over all the attendance days. So it's how many hours they have sort of experienced as part of this activity. And then again, when you're ready to add another attendance date, you'll just go to the Attendance tab, and you'll press this Add New Attendance button and just do the same thing over again. So that's how you take sort of one-off attendance in the East Oakland Youth Development Center database. Thanks.